What's up, guys? Chris Lopez here with JerseyBeast.tv, and in today's video we're going to be covering 8 tips that you can do to boost up your bench press. Now, as shitty as it sounds, the bench press is the end-all be-all for most guys when it comes to strength training. If you go to a regular gym, if you do not train at a private gym like this one, and you go to a regular gym, there's a good chance you see people bench pressing every day of the week. And it's probably really hard to get on a bench. And that's because that's what people use as their, no pun intended, their benchmark of how strong they are. You can have 1,000-pound total on your squat and deadlift, and if your bench is still weak, that's what most guys base their strength off of. So I'm going to kind of give you a few tips you guys can do to kind of boost up your bench press numbers a little bit. It's now obviously still work on your squat and deadlift because that's for a totally another video, but by increasing your squat and your deadlift, the rest of your lifts will follow, including your bench press. So still continue to work on your lower body, but we'll cover that in another one. And then last but not least, at the end of the video, stick with me because I have a free gift for you guys, a free muscle building gift as my way of saying thank you for sticking with me on this channel. Now, first things first. So when we bench press, typically the first thing that I see when most guys bench press is that they're using too much weight. And a few of the tips we're going to get into is going to talk about that a little bit. So number one is check your ego at the door. If it feels like it's too heavy, it probably is too heavy. So in order to get the max benefit out of the bench, you got to make sure you're using the right amount of weight for the rep ranges that you're doing. So if your rep range is 8 to 12 reps, 10 to 12 reps, or 15 reps, or whatever it is, 4 to 6, make sure you adjust the weight accordingly so that you get 6 perfect reps or 12 perfect reps or whatever the rep range is. Your reps are solid. Now, that being said, you can take the last 2 reps and kind of squeak them out a little bit if you're having trouble, or maybe the spotter helps you get those last 2. But by no means should the spotter have their hands on the bar, bouncing the bar off your chest, helping you lift the weight. If it looks pretty shitty, it most likely is. All right, so check your ego at the door. Use the amount of weight that you need to use to stay in that rep range. And honestly, if you do that for a few weeks, your numbers are going to jump just from that. So if you're not being honest with yourself when you're bench press, you need to start. You need to start, okay? So number one, check your ego. Number 2, keep your body rigid. Another mistake I see when guys bench press is that their body's all over the place. So they go to bench, their body's loose, their knees are kind of touching the bench, or they got one foot in, one foot out, and they take the bar off, they unrack it, and they go right down to their chest, and their body's kind of haphazardly moving, right? There's no rigidity in the bar, there's no rigidity in their lats, in their legs are moving, they get a couple more reps, so they put one foot up and they try and push that last rep out with that foot up in the air. Like, there's all these crazy things you see people do in their bench press with their bodies, right? The key to a successful bench is keeping your body rigid. Your grip is tight, you're squeezing the bar, your feet are flat on the floor, you're pushing through the floor, the hams, the glutes are tight, your lats are tight, everything is activated on the bench press. If you think of the bench press as a total body movement, you're going to be moving more weight for one simple reason, and it's because all the force that's being generated from your body is being put into the bar because the rest of your body is tight, right? If your midsection, your core, your glutes and your hams are not tight, there's a lot more places for that energy to go and leave your body as opposed to just being pressed into the bar. So, feet flat on the floor. I know there's variations to bench presses with feet, but this is how I bench, so I'm going to show you how I do it. Feet flat on the floor, kind of screw those feet into the floor, right? You lay back on the bench. You can even pick your shoulder blades up and squeeze them together. Keep those lats nice and tight. Hands should be just outside the shoulders. Nice firm grip on the bar. You're squeezing your glutes, you're squeezing the hamstrings, pushing your feet straight through the floor. Keep your butt in contact with the bench. Come down, touch, and explode up. Notice how there's no movement in the rest of my body, right? All the movement goes into the bar. See that? My body's tight. When your body is tight, you are able to put more force into the bar, which moves more weight. Number 3, don't be that guy that bounces the weight off his chest. Don't do it. If you have to bounce the weight off your chest, it's too heavy. See number 1, check your ego. All right, if it's too heavy and you're bouncing the weight off your chest, you're not getting the full benefit out of the bench press. Lower the weight, okay? And that goes hand in hand with having a spotter. Most guys don't know how to spot a lift, and maybe I could do another video on this, on how to properly spot somebody, especially on the bench press, because ultimately the person who's doing the bench, you want them to do the maximum amount of work possible, even when you are spotting them, which means you don't hold on to the bar, you don't put your fingers under the bar and follow. That's stupid shit. Don't do that. All right? Like if somebody spotted me like that, I would rack the bar and flip out, you know, because it's a distraction. So the spotter's only there for the last couple reps, okay? If you need a spotter to help you lift the weight every single rep of the set, then it's too much. You got to drop the weight. Number one, check your ego. Okay? Number 4, on the opposite end of the spectrum, go all the way down, touch your chest. When you bench press, you want to get a maximum stretch in the chest and a maximum contraction, not just the contraction portion. If you're not going all the way down, you're not fully stretching those chest muscles, okay? And ultimately, think of your muscles as a rubber band, all right? So when you stretch a rubber band, the further you stretch it, the more force it can snap back with, right? If you're only stretching the rubber band halfway, there's not a lot of force that can go back into the rubber band and come back. It doesn't snap back as hard, right? So the same thing with your muscles. You get a full stretch out of that chest, out of the pecs and the delts, and when you go to press, bang, right? You get more of a snap back into the bar. So go all the way down, touch your chest. Again, lower the weight if you have to. Maybe even pause at the bottom to make sure that you are not bouncing the bar off your chest. Nice, slow, and controlled, okay? None of this crazy jerking bench pressing, right? Nice control all the way down, bang, pop it up. Number 5, try other pressing variations. So you don't have to necessarily stick with the bar bench, okay? You can do bar floor presses, which is like a bench press on the floor, where you come down, touch your elbows to the floor and press it up. You can do dumbbell floor presses or dumbbell bench. Heavy dumbbell work is great too. It doesn't just end with the bar, okay? When you do heavy dumbbell work, especially if you do dumbbells with fat grips, it will improve your strength. But a lot of guys would rather not do dumbbells because it's not the bar, and you can't tell somebody, I don't know how much I bench press, but I know I can do hundreds with dumbbells for, 15 reps. Like, that's super impressive. If you do 15 reps with 100-pound dumbbells, that's pretty impressive, right? But it doesn't sound as cool as I bench 315, right? So you got to get past what sounds cool, what feels cool, and if you are ultimately going for results, you'll get over that stuff, all right? But use different pressing movements. Another favorite of mine that a lot of guys don't do are weighted dips. So you put the dip belt on, put a couple plates on it, or maybe you hang a dumbbell from it, and you do your dips weighted. All right, if you can't do weighted dips, obviously work on your bodyweight dips first, but dips are an amazing upper body exercise. I forget who said it. I think it was Mike Mentzer said it. Don't quote me, but I think Mike Mentzer said it. But he said it's like squats for the upper body. I think it was Mentzer. Squats for the upper body. It's total upper body movement. It involves every muscle group in the upper body. Keeping everything tight, keeping the elbows tucked in. You're using your chest, your shoulders, your lats. It involves all these different muscle groups in your upper body. So it's a great upper body movement. So try different pressing variations. Number 6, vary your rep ranges. So it's not all about lifting heavy all the time. Okay, you will hit a wall. There is a place and a time for high volume work, sets of 15, sets of 12 with perfect form. The more work capacity you build up from high volume work, it will translate into you moving more weight. Number 1, because you're going to be building more muscle, right? Usually volume work, time under tension builds more muscle. By doing so, by building more muscle, you have more muscle that's going to be able to push the weight or pull the weight when needed. And a lot of times, high volume work hits the nervous system differently than going heavy all the time for singles or sets of 3 or sets of 5. So there is a time and place for your high volume work. So vary your rep ranges, vary your pressing variations. Don't just stick with the bench all the time. All right. Number 7, work your supporting muscles. So like your triceps and your shoulders. Same thing, okay? So when you do, maybe you want to do close grip bench press, right? Not here, but just maybe over the shoulders, tuck the elbows in and press. The more you build up the triceps, the more it's going to help in your pressing movement and your bench. Because remember, the top part of the movement of the bench press is a lockout. It's a lot of tri work in that lockout. If you can't lock the weight up, right? If you can't lock it out, sometimes it's because you have weak triceps. Everybody works the bis, not everybody works the triceps as hard as they work the biceps. So hit your biceps, hit your delts, hit your shoulders, your upper back just as hard as you hit your bench, and I promise you your bench numbers will go up. And the last tip I have for you guys, stop fucking maxing out every single workout. You do not need to know your 1 rep max every workout. And that goes for all your lifts, but you see guys on the bench constantly at the end of their bench, at the end of their chest day, at the end of their bench workout, they go for 1 rep. It never fails, and I never get it because it does nothing for strength. That's an ego thing. Knock it off. Do your allotted sets and reps for that workout and move on. And the next time you do that workout, try and get a little bit more weight, which means at least adding 2.5s on each side, which is a total of 5 extra pounds, or do the same weight you did last week for 1 more rep. That's the simplest way to make gains and improve your bench press, build more muscle mass. It's the simplest way, but stop maxing out. It drives me nuts. Knock it off. It's an ego thing. It does nothing for strength. Focus on the rest of the tips in this video, and you'll be well on your way to boosting your bench press, adding more muscle mass, and getting stronger in the gym. You got to forget what everybody told you about bench pressing. Forget what your training partner is telling you, because chances are he's doing some of these things. If you can see me guys pointing over here, I listed everything out. That's why I'm pointing over this direction. But chances are, if he's guilty of these things, you got to help him correct them for him too, so you guys feed off each other, all right? The last thing, I know this was a lengthy video, but hopefully you got some use out of it. The last thing I want to give you guys is a free gift. I'm going to have it pop up on the right side of the screen here. And basically, it's my way of saying thank you for watching this video, liking my stuff, sharing it, commenting down below. If you guys have any other questions or any other videos you want to see me do about training, nutrition, life, whatever, comment down below. Let me know what you think of this video. If you have any questions about it, like the video. Make sure you share it if you're getting some use out of it, and make sure you get your free gift. It's going to pop up on the right side if it didn't already. Click the link, put your email in, I'll send it over your way. And that's all I got, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to check out the blog, jerseybeast.tv, for more training, nutrition, and life information for men. Later, guys.